Ready to go.
All right, everybody. Well, welcome to what's going to be a very interesting Stogie411 show. I am here with my partner in crime, Mr. Michael Williams. How you doing today, Mike?
Oh, as always, it's a peachy, beautiful day in upstate New York with snowing. It's springtime, and I now officially understand why people commit suicide. So it's I'll tell you all about my ISIS video later. That'll be the topic of the day after I tell you about that video. But anyways, yeah, so today we have our old buddy, I hate to say the word old, but Victor Vitale is back with us. It's been a while. How you doing, Victor?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back on. How are you?
Hey, we're doing great now that we got the audio working, and it's been a while. We've been on sabbatical for a while. We've both been sick. And I don't think we've had a show for what? 3 weeks?
Something like that. It's been a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been taking a break.
There's a bug going around. Did you get that bug, Victor?
No. My immune system is ironclad.
It must be the Italian.
Just lots of coffee and cannolis. That just,
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Frank in the chat room, he agrees with you, boy. He said I got to think we got an all Italian chat room going on today, actually. Victor brought the mob. We got the mob in the chat room. Keeping an eye on us, making sure everything's going great. So, well, Victor, it's been a while. So what's new? What's going on with you? And we know you're well, not really a newlywed, right? You're past the year mark now, aren't you?
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, over 2 years.
Yeah. So you're not really a newlywed. And as a good husband, he's got his wife's pictures in the back. Smart man. He's learned well.
Yeah.
So,
back there in my office.
Yeah, and who says you can't teach an old dog new trick, right, Victor? Yeah. So what's new? What's going on? Let's chat up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's springtime. I mean, what's going on out there in cigar land?
It's spring cigar land. Oh my God!
It's the Northeast, right? And I want to hear from the Northeast. I mean, I know what's going on down south. People have been smoking, playing golf for a couple of months now.
Yeah. Thanks, rubbing it in. Nothing's going on. We're staying inside. I've been playing golf indoors instead of outdoors.
I drove up here in the snow today. Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was ridiculous. Last night I started painting my rims with my buddy, and I went in his house at 5 o'clock. I came out at 11. I had 2 inches of snow all over my car and everything. I'm like, it's springtime up here. What's going on? It's supposed to change, but I don't know. So, Victor, Tortuga, let's talk about it.
Tortuga. All right. What do you want to know? Tortuga's. What do you want me to start from the beginning?
Always good to start from the beginning. I got to tell you one thing real quick. I just went on your website, and this Brazilian Oscuro, just looking at that cigar is unfreaking believable. That wrapper it looks like I could eat that cigar. Start with that cigar. That cigar looks. It's a full body, right?
Yeah, it's classified as full body, full body, full strength. I always separate body and strength.
Right.
I feel like a broken record, but, I'm going to treat it like it's, the first time I'm telling the story. So the Coyote Negro is dubbed the nickname for the Brazilian Oscuro Tortuga. So it's still the Tortuga Reserva, which is the brand. And 215 is the tribute to my birthplace, Philadelphia. And Coyote Negro is the nickname that the cigar has due to its rare components. And the most rare component on the cigar is the Brazilian Mata Fina wrapper.
Right.
So for me, Brazilian Mata Fina creates some of the best Maduro, authentic Maduro flavor there is. So, with respect to Connecticut broadleaf and San Andres Mexican Maduro, of which I've used both in the past, for me personally, the Brazilian Mata Fina complements this particular blend to, right to that, magnifique spot.
Yeah.
So, what you'll see is a very high priming, a very well, naturally aged, oily, shiny, full-bodied, full-strength wrapper leaf put onto Nicaraguan binder and filler. And as you guys know from talking with me many times, my overall goal when achieving a blend is balance. So I'll take the blend right to that point where I'm never compromising balance for strength, and then that's it. That's the final blend. And that takes a lot of time, believe it or not.
Right.
Because, just adding a quarter leaf of Ligero or a quarter leaf different Viso, or just, tweaking the blend sometimes 5 to even 10% really makes a huge difference. You may think 5 or 10%, that doesn't really sound like a lot. It's almost like if you pour cream in your coffee and you just, let it go for an extra second, you're not really going to mind. But
right.
when it comes to tobacco and achieving a blend, that could make a huge difference.
Right. It seems like a lot more people, I know when we've had them on the show, are starting to use that, the Brazilian Montefina wrapper a lot more. It seems like there's like this new, I shouldn't say new, but it just seems like there's a craze about it right now.
I've been working on it for this project for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I started working on the project, no one was using Brazilian Montefina because it's very expensive and it's very rare and it's tough to get. So back when I started, I was currently using San Andres and fooling around with Connecticut broadleaf. And that's really what the majority of the Maduros on the market are using, in the boutique market, I should say. In the boutique market are using San Andres Mexican and Connecticut broadleaf. So I think today, really what we're seeing is people are exploring different options out there. And, if they're willing to pay the premium for the Brazil Montefina, it's there.
Yep.
But you're not going to get a lot of it.
Yeah, it's I like that. That's a very enjoyable wrapper. I like that wrapper next to the San Andreas Maduro. That's my favorite, but that's a great wrapper. I like it myself. Look at I just left him sitting there with a cigar. I always do that to you. Wait till you just sitting there, take a puff, and then I lead it off to him, and it's just a moment of silence. Dead air time.
I totally forgot about my cigar was running out. I forgot to get another one out. That's why I laid a microphone down, was doing all this stuff. And you guys now with them on Skype, they could probably hear everything. I mean, snipping it off and everything. And well, everybody else couldn't hear a thing from me because I use this microphone. But
no, we didn't hear. We really don't pay attention to you.
You just ignore me anyway. So
don't worry about
but yeah, I like the some of those wrappers for the Maduro are so flavorful. I think they bring so much flavor to it. The only thing I don't care for too much, like when it's Maduro, is the strength profile goes up. Where the nicotine comes out more. People put more into it rather than letting the wrapper, do the taste for it. Is that something hard to do, Victor? I mean, is it hard to blend something where the wrapper taste is going to really take over everything else?
I wouldn't say that it's difficult to do. I mean, I think that a lot of makers make Maduro specifically fuller bodied because when you look at the category of the Maduro smoker, typically they expect a fuller bodied, fuller strength cigar. So, if we as a whole start making milder Maduros, we may not really attract people to the product. Necessarily a Connecticut shade smoker, they just may not be interested in smoking a Maduro. People tend to be really partial to Maduro and smoke Maduro exclusively or 60% of the time, and they dabble in sun-grown the other 40% of the time.
Mm.
You very rarely see somebody walk up with 10 cigars to a cash register and only 2 cigars are Maduro. At least I very rarely see that.
That's me.
That's you?
That's what they make Connecticut shade for, Mike. For you.
Yeah, I do. I mean, because I love the wrapper on. Like I said, I mean that Montefina wrapper is amazing. The San Andreas is amazing, but I don't usually buy a whole bunch of them because I don't care for the full cigar. I don't want the nicotine hit. I just want something easy to smoke that doesn't mess with my head or anything else, and that's why I gravitate more towards the lighter shade cigars. But yeah, I've sun-grown is good. But yeah, I will. I'll always pick up a couple Maduros here and there just because I love them that much. But it's just certain times, like in the evening after a good dinner or something that I really smoke them Shut up.
Become a man then.
You know, I got to say, respectfully for Connecticut, I love Connecticut shade cigars, and I think that they're sometimes confused for being like just plain vanilla ice cream.
Right.
You know, really, and I just recently launched a Tortuga Reserva Connecticut. I'm not sure if you guys are aware.
Yeah, we see them.
But it's, I would encourage you to smoke it, even if you are a fuller bodied smoker, and just really notice the elegance and the complexity that I've created with this Connecticut shade, because it's, although it's made for the traditional Connecticut smoker, it's not dialed up on the strength. It's really dialed up on the taste, which is really unique in today's market, I think, that I try to achieve. You know, when you smoke some of the more traditional Connecticut's, and what I mean by traditional is like Romeo and Juliet and Monte Cristo and Macanudo and Ashton Classic, Fuente Chateau, those are all like traditional Connecticut's. And I use the word traditional because in today's market, some of the makers are making non-traditional Connecticut's, which are more fuller bodied Connecticut's. And for me personally, I don't like a fuller body Connecticut. I like that smooth elegance, that like vanilla bean, but you know, with some extras, with some taste, not exactly with more strength. And that's really what I went for with the Tortuga Connecticut.
Nice. Hey, I don't know if we touched base on this. I don't think we did, but John G said, nice name on Tortuga. How did Victor pick that name? I think we came up with that. Didn't we, Victor, before? Didn't we say that?
Yeah, I don't mind talking about it again if you'd like me to answer.
There you
Beautiful
go.
cigar.
Look at that.
So this is the Connecticut.
Connecticut, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it has, now, the foot band really denotes the style. And this has a like a wax paper, but beneath the wax paper is also cedar.
Oh, okay.
So you still have that nice cedary aroma that goes with it. But
Nice
Tortuga.
packaging.
So I wanted to create a name for a boutique product. The name had to really, the short part of the story is the name had to resemble the process. And the process that I use for Tortuga, all the way down to selecting tobacco, to sorting the tobacco. You know, you're talking color sort, you're talking size grading, you're talking priming, you're talking aging, fermentation, blending process. By the time after the leaf is picked off the stalk to it gets to a retail shelf, you're looking at a minimum of 3 to 5 years, depending on which part of the blend it is, meaning Seco, Viso, Ligero. So I wanted to come up with a name that resembled that process, and Tortuga was really an easy choice to make.
Actually, I would think he has a man crush on Johnny Depp, and it was Pirates of the Caribbean that caused it all. That's you honestly know when people see Tortuga on a cigar, you know how many people actually say, "Oh, that was Pirates of the Caribbean." It was said about Tortuga. It's like, no.
I don't know. I don't get it.
Okay, just talk.
I don't know. I'm not into gay pirates. I don't know. I guess you got to be into gay pirates.
There's a Tortuga National Park right off of Key West, Florida.
I get it now, dude.
Damn.
Hey, let's see. Frank wants to know if does Davidoff of Geneva, NYC carry the Coyote Negro yet, or the Connecticut Tortuga?
I know that Davidoff Madison Avenue is an appointed merchant. I believe they do have the Coyote Negro. I do not think that they have the Connecticut yet because we're still working on filling back orders for it.
Okay.
So the original production came and went in 24 hours because we had a list of back orders that were just huge. Wow. And we still had leftover back orders from that original production, and we're currently accruing reorders from those folks and new orders from people who want to sign on for it. So I'm not really sure if they're in the queue, but if they are, they should get it sometime in the next 30 to 60 days. And if they're not, if Frank could go in and say, hey, maybe you guys want to get on this, and they'll give my office a call, and we'll certainly put them on. I mean, they're a very good merchant of ours, and we'll definitely take care of them in the process.
Now, while we're talking about that with distribution and where your cigars are available, I know somebody asked if I was smoking the Connecticut Tortuga, and I said no. I said I honestly couldn't find them local. The shops I go to, they don't have them. Are you expanding still into new shops around the country? Yeah.
So this question kind of goes back to the name Tortuga. Tortuga also resembles the distribution of the brand. So being a boutique company, I only have access to so much of the tobacco that I choose. And once I buy the tobacco, I can only produce so many cigars. And for me, I've been in wholesale distribution for 20 years. I've been in the cigar business for 20 years. And if you open too many accounts, you won't be able to satisfy the accounts that were with you in the beginning. And then everybody just gets, messed up in the process. So really what I do is I allot a spot for new accounts to be opened up right around the trade show time. So last year we went to the trade show with an allotted 40 to 50 new accounts, and we were able to achieve that by the third day of the trade show. So this year it'll probably be about the same, which will put us over the 300 mark in the United States. So, as I build up leaf reserves and production, I'm able to put on, maybe an extra 10 to 15% more stores around the USA.
Nice. And they can find it on your website. You have a list, correct? You can go onto your website, and there's a link up there where you can check to see what the closest retailer is.
Yeah, it's actually a very unique site. It'll show you the list of stores, and you can actually click on the link, and then you'll be able to see the store hours, and then even go to the store website. And then if you're using a smartphone, you can just press the phone number and it'll call. And I'm not really sure if we're completely updated on all the store listings. I know that we've been working on that for a little while. I'm not, if we're behind, we may be behind maybe 10 or 15 or so. But the majority of them are on there. And if anyone has any question about their local store, just send an email, and we'll certainly let them know if their local store is a merchant.
Okay. Frank's got a question that goes along with the whole what we're talking about. He wants to know, how do you choose an appointed merchant?
That's a great question. Nowadays it's really based on their history in the business and how well they treat their store and how well they treat their customers. So, I tend to go with some of the older style tobacconists, the people that respect premium cigars, respect pricing, also respect their humidor climate, their store policy. So really a lot goes into it other than location. I mean, it's easy to just, point out on a map and choose a bunch of locations, but I want a retail store to resemble how I feel about my brand. So I look for people with similar business practices that I have.
Nice. Now, do you personally visit these stores, or do you have other people that go out and help you do all that?
It's a little bit of both. I try to get out and visit every single appointed merchant, but there are stores that I know that have been in the business for a long time that if the local sales account manager says, hey, we want to approach these guys and talk to them if our production can handle it, and it'll be like, yeah, of course, I've known these people for a long time. We should be in there already. So, let's make it happen.
Nice. All right. Let's talk a little bit about, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, Ora Vivo.
Ora Vivo, you said it.
Let's talk about that blend and Mr. Oman Asante, which I'm going to give you, Rico, I'm going to give you a little quick history because I'm a big fan of his. There's 3 movies he has where he uses the same line, and he may not even know that he uses the same line. And it's, I am your family. There's 3 movies that he's done. And he was the best John Gotti ever. That's all I'm going to say.
He won the Emmy for that.
Yeah, he's used it in that. He used it in a movie with Sylvester Stallone when he was his chemically produced brother.
Judge Dredd.
Anybody know the 3rd movie?
Paradise Alley? No.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a history. I'm a big fan of his.
Judge Dredd?
Yeah, the best Godfather ever. Judge Dredd. That's the 2nd one. There's one other.
Paradise Alley?
Who?
Paradise Alley?
Yep. That's the
Look at
3
that.
movies. He used that same line in all 3 movies. I don't even know if he knows it.
Oh,
Yep. See that? A little bit of history.
all right.
You learned something today, folks, in Stogie411. See that? But let's talk about the blend. I personally have not tried this cigar, and I'm looking forward to trying this cigar. So tell us a little bit about it, how it all came about, working with them, and a little history.
Well, it's a great blend. Where it started was a very good friend of mine, Gary Mascioni from Chicago. Do you have an Italian button there you want to hit? Mascioni. So Gary approached me and said, "Hey, I know Armand Desante. Would you want to make a cigar for him?" And my initial reaction was no, because as we all know, it's very difficult for Hollywood or a sports star to lend their name to a premium cigar. It's just traditionally in this business, it hasn't worked. So he says, well, let's just talk to Armand and see where he is. So we talked, and both Armand and I, we had reservations in the beginning because Armand has been approached by several manufacturers in the past to make a cigar for him, but if you look at his career, this guy very rarely lended his name to endorse any commercial product.
Yep.
So basically, the summary is he reached a point in his life where he wanted to create a legacy, and he absolutely loves premium cigars. I mean, this guy is an absolute fanatic of premium cigars. He loves premium cigars. Smokes cigars every day, in the house, in the car, on set.
He's
in
the true
almost
man's man.
every movie that he's ever been in. I mean, he is the cigar ambassador,
Yep.
in my opinion,
Yep.
in Hollywood. So,
Yep.
a great advocate for premium cigar. So we had a long conversation, and we ended up coming to an agreement that we were going to do this on a very small scale, get it out there, boutique, very similar type program that I have for Tortuga. The original launch was in 2012. We had launched a small production of boxes. You'll see the color of the block. The box was black. It was a 16 count. It was made for the United States, and we sold out at the trade show. It was incredible. Then my European distribution partners were asking for a European version. Now, the American version had all bigger ring gauges, up to a 60. Everything was like 54 to 60. So in Europe, traditionally, smaller ring gauges work, but not too small. We had to go down to about 46, 48, 50, 52, and that sold out in a matter of 6 months. So then last year at the trade show, we launched something called Ora Vivo World, which would be distributed globally. And that is doing very well. That has a nice white box, beautiful graphics. Still has the 2 faces on the band. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the cigar before, but it's just very well done, beautifully done. And Armand really lended himself in the design process and also the blending process. He was very instrumental in deciding on what blend he liked the best. This wasn't something that was just made for him saying, here you go, this is what the cigar is going to be. It was,
Right.
We smoked 40 plus different blends and styles of a blend until we arrived unanimously at the finished product.
That's awesome to hear, how involved he was in the process of the cigar itself. And now, do you see that going forward? Or are you looking at making new, either line extensions or a new blend with him down the road?
Yeah, I'm working on some line extensions, some limited edition stuff. It really works in the small batch type arena. And Armand has been great. He's shown up at all of the trade shows so far since Ora Vivo has launched. And, with this guy's busy schedule, producing films and starring in films, and, he travels the world. Right now he's in Switzerland, and next week he'll be in Canada. Then he's in the Ukraine doing things. He's just everywhere all the time. So for him to actually put things on hold when he can, to show up at the cigar trade show, I think that says a lot about how much involved he is.
Yeah, it shows commitment.
Yeah, it shows he believes in the blend, and he's just not putting his name on it. He's putting his time and passion into it. So I mean, that's also, how intimidating was it the first time you met him? Because honestly, I mean, I'd probably shit myself. That's the truth. I mean, I'm not afraid of many people, but there's something about him that I don't know. Like, to me, I'd put him on a level. Like, I think he could probably kick anybody's ass.
I'd have to agree with you. He is the man has presence.
Yeah,
he does. I'd agree with you.
I can tell you that. I mean, both on screen and off screen. When you meet him for the first time, you're aware that he's there.
Yeah.
Almost like if you believe in energy, you can feel the energy. Like some people, their energy just goes out maybe 6 to 12 inches. This guy has energy that goes out 3 feet.
Yeah.
It's but he's very gentle about it. I mean, he's a lion, but he's he's a very respectful guy. He's just a wonderful man.
Yeah.
And he, did I mention he loves premium cigars? Let me tell you the story. So he invites me to his house in upstate New York. So he's he lives with you there in Snowyville.
Yeah.
And we're testing blends and drinking scotch until like 1 a.m. And finally we all burn out. And I retire to my room, and everybody retires for the evening. And then something wakes me up in the middle of the night, which was the middle of the night for me, but apparently it was morning for Armand. And he's out back smoking a cigar, chopping firewood at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Unreal.
So I look out the window. I'm like, what's this noise? I'm looking. What is that? And there he is. You could see, like in the darkness, you could see the ember from the cigar and the smoke coming out. And this guy's just chopping wood. Then I said, oh, this guy is really a cigar smoker. That was the moment that I knew that it was for real.
Man, unreal.
Yeah, that is.
I got goosebumps just thinking about it. So, if you could be in love with the man and being straight, he's the man. This guy's the man. That's all I'm telling you. He's the man.
I wish I had a picture of that. It was a sight, man.
Now, another question here in the chat with the Oro Vivo. He said the original Oro Vivo, is the blend different than that of the World Edition?
Yes, it is.
That's it. Yes. That's all I'm going to say to you. Yes, it is. It's different. There's your answer, Frank.
You didn't ask how it was different. You just asked if it was different.
No, I don't mind elaborating on it. I mean, if Frank wants to hear some more, the World Blend is slightly fuller. I wanted to create a little bit more of. It's easy to use generic terms like strength and more robust, more full body, but I don't know. Without getting into too much detail, I wanted to do something a little bit different, just a little bit more of a step up. And obviously, before I purchased the tobacco for it, we tried it out. And I tested it with Armand, and Armand just fell in love with it. He said, "Wow, this is. Are we going in this direction?" He says, "I want to go in this direction." And I said, "Yeah, I thought you would like to go in that direction." So I bought the tobacco, and that's what we decided to do with Ora Vivo World.
Now, how does that work with worldwide distribution, especially overseas? I've always heard, overseas, like you said, it's a smaller ring gauge, and I always heard that they tend to go for milder cigars. Is that the case, and does this do well overseas too?
Well, in today's market, believe it or not, the Europeans are looking for a little bit more fuller bodied stuff.
Okay.
So traditionally, and now they're starting to explore with larger ring gauges. Now, I doubt that the 70 ring is going to make a big splash in Germany or France or somewhere in Europe, but they're really looking forward to trying different things from Central America. That's what I hear from my distributor in Germany.
Well, with the big show coming up soon, what can we expect new from you? That you can talk about.
I'm working on. I'm always working on something. So really, there's always about 40 or 50 different blends that are going at any one time. I mean, it may not be something that I'm scheduled to release. Like, I'm not working on anything in particular, but always tweaking the blend, always doing something. If, when I reach the point where it's like, wow, I can't, this is it.
Yeah.
I have to make this something. That's when I'll really turn the heat up and start the rush to create a label or an extension or something. But as of right now, not to be a party pooper or anything, I'm really content with what I have currently for Tortuga, and so are the appointed merchants. They're really not asking me for what's new. They're just asking me for more of what is already out.
And now that is amazing, because so many people I talk to, so many manufacturers, so many people, they always say, everybody says, what's new, what's new, what's new. Yeah. And it's great to hear that your core lines are that good that they just keep saying, give us more. They don't say what's new, just give us more of this.
It is good.
Yeah.
There's not many manufacturers out there today that have the not a huge line that everybody's coming out with 2, 3, 4 new cigars every year, right? You see very limited people coming out, manufacturers coming out, saying, you know what, I'm happy with the lines I have, and I'm just going to make extensions of them or continue to make those lines. So, that's good. There should be more people like you. I personally think it's great being a cigar smoker, getting to smoke all these cigars, but personally, I think there's too many cigars right now.
Yeah, so do I.
Because I find what happens is just trying to keep up with what's new and smoking it, you tend to sometimes forget about a lot of all the good cigars you smoked before until one day you finally dig down into your humidor and go, holy crap, I haven't smoked that in 5 years. And you love the cigar when it came out, but because there's so much new stuff coming out, those things tend to get lost. And it's a shame. I think the market, in my opinion, is overpopulated right now.
Yeah, it's saturated. It's really saturated with cigars, and the patience that Victor is demonstrating, with doing that, saying, okay, I have these blends in work, but I am not even going to think about doing anything else until I get something that I really like.
That's because he's keeping them all for himself. He doesn't want us to enjoy anything. He's just saying, here's what you're getting from me. Enjoy it, and I'm keeping the rest. Go screw yourself.
I can only buy this little bit of tobacco. I'm smoking them all. Hell with
it. Yeah, I can only get this little small crop. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's probably got warehouses and warehouses of tobacco, and he's telling us, I only got a little bit, man. That's the best I can do.
Happened before, yeah. And sometimes if you can only make 1,000 cigars, I'm keeping them.
Yeah, there you go. If you wanted cigars, you bet you'd have that tobacco, wouldn't you? Up right over. Just keep chopping the wood.
Oh, man.
Let's see.
Well, I agree with you guys. It can be inundating in this market today. There are a lot of cigar brands popping up, and I think one of the challenges for a consumer today is there's a lack of categorizing brands in the business. And what I always like to say is, if you use the model that the beer industry uses, which is nano, craft, micro, macro, it'll really help you as a consumer to understand what your comparisons are. I always laugh when people ask me, how do you think you compare to Padron or Fuente? And I'm flattered that someone would actually say that to me, but they're macro brands, and I'm a craft brand.
Right.
So it's kind of like putting a lightweight boxer in the ring with Mike Tyson. It's just not going to work.
Well,
So
if your ears are covered, you'll be all right.
Oh,
remember that? That was something, huh?
oh my.
Taking fighting dirty to a new level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
you know, that's what happens when you take a street punk and you put him in the ring, give him a lot of money. Yeah. I could say it because he's not
Yeah.
here. So he's not in front of me. Otherwise, I'd be, you know, shutting up. I'm not
well,
going
he's from your neck of the woods, right?
I live in Red Lion, Pennsylvania, Tyson.
That's all right. I moved, remember? I'm not in Red Lion anymore.
Tyson's coming for you.
I'm hanging out with the Amish Mafia.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, man. But, well,
shit,
John
man.
has a question.
So, yeah, you know.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Victor.
Yeah. No, I was just going to finish up my my thought on nanocraft, micro, macro. And, you know, what I would say is respectfully, when you're comparing brands, and I'm not just talking about mine, with respect to the other guys that are out there, really compare them in the bracket that they're in. And, you know, I got to be honest, you know, I always hear that there's a lot of good cigars out there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I want to agree with that thought. I want to say there are a lot of good cigars out there, but there are also a lot of bad cigars out there.
Yes, there is.
And I think sometimes that we as cigar makers and you guys as experts on taste, we sometimes elude that fact because we want to be politically correct. But I don't know, today's Saturday and I don't feel like being politically correct. I think that if you happen to know that something is not up to par, then, you know, you should just just don't smoke it anymore, or, you know, tell your retailer, because the retailer, it's a tough job.
Yes.
And this is really where I'm going with this. The retailer has a tough job. They have to constantly satisfy consumers coming in and asking what's new. What's new is the most asked question by a consumer going into a retail market.
Right.
And, you know, so they're always out there looking for what's new all the time. And sometimes they don't really have the time to check it out thoroughly, because they have to constantly throw new stuff on their shelf all the time. And then they get stuck with these cigars because, you know, 4 or 5 guys came in asking for what's new, you know, bringing something new, and they try something new, and it's like throwing crap against the wall, you know, and see if it sticks. It's not going to work. So, you know, maybe it's time to find some brands that do what they do really well, and, you know, stick with those guys. You know, watch, and you know who they are. You know who's invested in this business and who spends the time blending and picking tobacco, and it's not just marketing and smoke and mirrors. I mean, I think the consumers know that too. They know who's involved in the business and who's not. Those are the people you want to support.
Right. So basically, in short, for you slow people out there, Victor, there's some people out there that make shitty cigars. There you go. I just narrowed it down for you, you know.
So
devil's weed. Anyway,
here's one more thing before we get to Frank's. Is it Frank's question
John.
John's question?
Yeah,
John's question?
Big Frank.
So the statistics are at the IPCPR, which is the big show that we talk about every year. The statistics are new exhibitors. New exhibitors are the people who mostly have fallen in love with cigars somehow, and then, you know, they own other companies or work for someone, and they just get into the business, and, you know, they just want to put a label on a cigar. Respectfully, that's okay. I'm not against that. But when it comes to competing, then there's, you know, now there's something else. You have to have customer service. You have to be able to back up your brand. You have to be able to know where your tobacco was sourced, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So 95% of those new exhibitors don't show up the next year to exhibit. Why? Because they didn't make it. The product, you know, was just some second, third, fourth tier through a middleman or a jobber or something, where they just threw their label on and that was it.
Right.
So, you know, you guys know who they are, and I think the consumers can kind of pick up who they are. And, you know, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try them, but just make sure that you keep them on their game by, you know, demanding excellence.
Well, and you brought up a point there that I hear a lot, and you know, we've heard on the show here. Consumers are more educated nowadays with cigars than they ever have been. It's amazing the knowledge that consumers have And it's like, if you're not able to at least match that knowledge, why would they ever want to buy your cigar? You know?
Right.
Beats me. You know, I'm all for new people coming to the business. What I'm not for is bringing crap to the business. Just to make it clear.
Yes.
Don't hold back.
Go, Ray Romano.
All right. Ask John's question here before it runs off.
All right. John wants to know, what's the most difficult hurdle that you have faced so far in running your business, besides coming on our show?
Oh, wow. I don't know if it's any one particular thing. I mean, you know, operating a business especially in the cigar industry, presents many challenges. It's not as romantic as I can make it sound all the time. I mean, I've worked with many factories in the past, and now I'm very fortunate. I have a vested partnership in very good people in Honduras. They're not a big name factory. They don't make big name cigars or anything, but we have a great relationship with our growers, and we produce excellent, top quality cigars. Now, in the past, and this is one of the challenges, I'll say, in the past, I've worked with some factories that didn't really have that integrity. So, I mean, I've had everything from labels stolen to boxes stolen to tobacco reserves stolen to someone actually assembling all of those things and selling it to a retailer in the United States and then having them resell it as if there was nothing wrong with it.
Wow.
So, I mean, I can tell you some stories.
Wow.
And, you know, that wasn't just one time that's happened, but
Right.
I guess the challenge is how and why am I still here after losing so much money with instances like that? And that's really the question, I think.
Yeah, that's a lot of money with tobacco getting stolen.
Yeah.
You're talking sometimes over $10,000-$20,000. It's just, you don't know what happened to it. Gone.
Victor's Italian. We can all read between the lines. I got it. I just hit.
Yep. And you don't hear from those factories anymore, do you?
That's right. That's why. Listen, here's the truth. Victor's Italian, and that's how he's still staying on top after losing all that money. Y'all figure it out.
That's good.
That's racist.
No, I'm not racist. I love all races. I told you, you got to wait, Victor. Wait till you see my April Fool ISIS joke on Twitter. I'm probably going to be, FBI's going to come to my house after I do that.
God.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's just the government. You don't have to be afraid of them. I'm not.
Yeah.
You said it.
That's right. Hey, freedom of speech. I invoke my First Amendment's rights.
Now,
Make sure you have your Second Amendment right with you.
Yeah.
That's
all
all right. Hey, listen. Johnny Cochran's dead, right? I can't get him, right? I'm screwed. Oh, well, what are you going to do? You know what? Listen, we won't get into politics. Every time we have Victor on, I promise him we will never get into politics. Victor and I have talked before privately about it, and we won't talk it on live on the.
Well, I want to add something to the question that John asked. He said about
sign up for Obamacare.
With your difficult hurdle. Yeah, no, we won't go into that. The most difficult hurdle that you face. Now, what has been the most difficult thing since you branched into just your own lines, into the Tortuga and the Ora Vivo, with what you were doing before? What was the most difficult thing, leaving that behind or moving forward, or in that instance?
I don't know if I would use the word difficult. I mean, there are challenges, but honestly, creating Tortuga has been one of the best things that I've ever done because it allowed me to slow down. I mean, in the past, it was really more about quantity and volume. And today it's more about quality over quantity. And, you know, the challenge really is there are times when the demand is so high that you just want to produce and sell. And, you know, that could really there are times where it could just change a quarter, and everything is looked at as a quarter. I don't look at months; I look at quarters because the production side moves so slow. You can't look at things on a month-to-month basis. You know, if I, you know, flip the switch and sped up production, I could probably do double or triple next quarter of what I'm scheduled to do. So that's really the tough part. You know, because there are times where it's like, wow, we can triple income if we just increase production, and then, but that's not the model. So I just can't do that. You know, and that's really hard to do. I got to be honest with you. It's really, really, really hard to do. So I guess I would use that as I would put the word difficult there. But you know, patience and sticking to the plan is really a top priority, and that's going to stay. It's going to stay that way.
Well, you've been in it for a long time, so it's not like you're looking to make the quick buck. You're in it because you have a passion. You want to make the best cigars that you can make. So it's not about, you know, quantity. It's about quality. And, you know, not a lot of manufacturers, I'm not saying they don't mass produce and make good quality cigars, but they're not thinking the same way. I mean, you're in a small group of people that have a few lines and just focus on quality and not quantity. Let's be realistic. There's not a lot of manufacturers in the group that you're in. Yeah. Most people are mass producing.
Yeah, especially when you have the chance to mass produce.
Mass produce. Exactly.
To make sure that it stays the way it is.
That's what I'm trying to say. Exactly. So, you know, kudos to you. You're in a league of your own in reality, if you think about it.
There's a quick one from Foozer. Do you make any Lanceros?
No, I know the answer to that.
The answer is no. I was on a show a couple of weeks ago, and I don't want to lead anyone on. My answer was just absolutely not no on that show, and it's going to remain. So I'm sorry. The answer is no.
That was a quick one.
Here's your answer.
You know, I'll just, you know, I'll talk about it a little bit. Lanceros are very difficult to make. Number one. Number two. There's a very small segment of the market that looks for Lanceros. Have I made Lanceros in the past? Yeah, I have. Am I interested in doing it in the future? I'm just not. You know, I'm sorry to say that. And I don't mean to say that in a mean way, like I'm against it. I'm not against it. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right. Well, I don't know if you'll answer Frank's question, but I'll ask it. He says you may have answered, but I don't think you have. I don't know if you'll answer. He says, out of curiosity, who's rolling cigars out of what country?
So the cigars are made in Honduras, and I make them with a family who's managed by one Carlos Aguilar. The family's been their fourth generation. They've been making cigars for 100 years. The tobacco comes from Nicaragua. It's transported to Honduras. It's rolled there, and then imported into the United States.
There you go. Look at that.
Now, how is that now? How does that work? I was always curious about this when you hear about, like, you roll your cigars in Honduras, but the tobacco comes from, you know, other countries into Honduras. You don't use any Honduran tobacco at all, right? Right.
None.
Is it still cost effective enough for you to do, or would it be easier if you just had a factory in Nicaragua doing it?
No, it's not as difficult as you think, you know, because even in Dominican Republic, the factories use blends of Dominican, Honduran, Costa Rican, Peruvian, Nicaraguan, Mexican. So anywhere you go, their tobacco comes from all over the world. So it's actually really easy for me to use exclusively Nicaraguan tobacco and be in Honduras, because you're talking about a truck ride. It's not really that far. We don't have to put anything on water or in the air to get it there. So my situation is a lot easier than someone using Nicaraguan tobacco in the Dominican Republic.
Okay. Victor, are you still how busy as you are you still doing any more? You were doing, I don't want to say rolling events, but you were doing, you know, you would roll cigars. Are you still doing that at all, or no?
No, I haven't done that in a long time. I actually that was a lot of fun, and you know, I would still do one because it's a pleasure for me to do it. But I haven't done that in a really long time.
You think there's a lot of manufacturers that actually can? I mean, let's be honest. Rolling a cigar is an art form. I mean, Do you think there's a lot of manufacturers that can do that? I mean, there's not many I know that do it themselves. You're one of the few that I know. But do you think a lot of manufacturers actually have attempted or do it? I mean, because it's hard.
I'd be surprised if they can't do it.
Yeah.
I'd be really surprised. I mean, I'm sure there are some out there that can't. I'm sure that there are plenty that can. But if you called out a name and you said, he can't roll cigars, I'd probably be surprised, because I can't imagine that someone wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Being in the business.
We're not making them, but we can't.
Well, no, I understand that, but I mean, spending the time at the factory and, it's just something that you should want to learn how to do, I think.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Well, one last question here from the chat. Foozer. He said he likes to pair his stogies with craft brews. Which of your line pairs well with like a stout porter?
The Coyote Negro. And try if you haven't tried Weyerbacher, which is a Pennsylvania brewery, they're fantastic.
Of course, it's Pennsylvania.
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 They're way out in Pennsylvania.
That's the way it is. Yes, sir.
So now, if you like Scotch, Lagavulin or Lafroig is my favorite pairing with my Tortuga.
There you go, Foos.
Well, let's ask you this, Victor. Let's ask you about the whole Cuban thing before we let you go.
What do you want to know?
So when are you going to use Cuban tobacco in your cigars if you're not already doing it?
Why would I want to do that?
Exactly. I knew he was going to say that. I had a feeling he was going to say that, but I wanted to hear it from him.
Let's just keep it short and sweet, right? Why would I want to do that?
No interest, right?
None. No.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the same no as I gave you with the Lanceros.
Yeah. Well, we find it like 50-50 split when we ask manufacturers that. I think Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, all these other, but they're producing probably better stuff, in my opinion, than what's coming out of Cuba right now. And I think a lot of people feel the same. I mean, you're not supposed. I smoke them. I have them. I don't see the big whoop. I don't think, personally, in my opinion, they're the best cigars being made at all, hands down. But it's like 50-50 split every time we ask that question, but there are some people, let's be realistic, that are using Cuban seed already. We all know that. So that's good. No interest.
Yeah, I mean, some of the best tobacco in the world comes from Central America.
Right.
So like you, I've smoked Cuban cigars for a long time. I mean, I've seen Cuban cigars at their best, and I've also seen them at their worst. Mm-hmm. And I got to say, lately, Cuban cigars have been terrible. Mm-hmm. And, I don't want to step on anyone's ambition to blend Cuban tobacco, and then, maybe that person will say, I don't know what I'm talking about. But consumers, there are going to be consumers out there that want that. They're going to want some sort of blend.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
With, from a supplier, from a manufacturer to say, they're using Cuban tobacco blended with, whatever blend that they're working on. I mean, that's something that they're going to want. At this junction, I have zero interest in doing that. With some of the tobacco that I've been presented with from Central America and even Ecuador, wow, I got to tell you, there's no reason to go anywhere else.
Nice.
All right. That works for me. Well, it's that time of the show, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the honors to put Victor to sleep and kill him.
It's over already?
End his life.
Yeah. It goes quick.
Yeah, it goes quick.
Right, Victor.
We don't mess around.
We are going to kill you again. And we're now, this is a new time, new era. We're putting you on your deathbed.
The answer's going to change this time.
I'm thinking the answer is going to change. But you're on your deathbed. You have one cigar, and then that's it. You're going. What cigar would you?
One size.
Yeah, one cigar, one size.
My Tortuga Cedro number 5. It's a 5.5 by 48. And that has changed because I believe the last time it was the biggest cigar that I made.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Because it would have extended my time, but I'm gonna go.
Victor's married now, so
she's like, give him the smallest cigar he makes. Let's go.
Oh, that's terrible.
So that's it. That's it. And here it is, right here. This is my daily right here.
Nice.
There you go. Well, don't die on us, but you can smoke it today and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, Victor, it's always a pleasure. We appreciate you taking time out to hang out with us two schmucks today. Everybody in the chat room loves when you come on. Everybody's, happy that you came on. They always learn something more. We all learn something more when you come on. One of the best guys I know in the industry. Very knowledgeable, very friendly. If you ever see Victor out anywhere at B&M, you definitely go up to him. He'll talk to you. He'll help you. He'll tell you anything you want. Just don't talk politics. But other than that, he'll talk to you. But just an absolute pleasure having you back on, man. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It's always my pleasure. Thanks for everybody for checking in and all the questions and everything. And have a great weekend.
Yeah, we're going to try. Hopefully the snow will stop.
Yeah.
So,
all right, brother.
All right, Victor. Well, we'll let you go, and we'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one, man.
All right, take care.
See ya.
Thanks,
you, Victor.
Thanks.
Oh, see, now my screen's all messed up again because
it's because you're slow, man.
See, Skype changed this last time. See, now you're right now your picture is showing as Victor Vitale's logo right there.
Yeah, I'm the sexy Italian right now.
See?
Yeah,
you look better
baby.
right now. I'll switch that so you can see a little bit of Mike anyway. Now it'll go to normal. But yeah, see, Skype, I hate when Skype does that. They change things and they change the order of the pictures on the screen. Yeah, Microsoft bought them. So, so now everything has to be changed completely in order to get it back.
Yeah.
Victor's great. I love having Victor on the show. Yeah,
Victor's a good guy. So thanks to everybody in the chat room for hanging out with us. We know it's been a while, and we do have a couple more shows booked up. You may not see us as much as frequently. Who knows? We're trying. We're working on getting guests. But
Mike and I were both sick. Like, I mean, we've been having that flu thing that was going around, or whatever the hell you want to call it. It was horrible.
I think my wife was trying to kill me. I think she poisoned me.
That's what I thought too.
God, that was the worst cold. I wouldn't wish that on my enemy, man. That was the worst I've ever had in my life. 48 years on this earth. But so yeah, just keep an eye. Subscribe to our feed. Follow us at Stogie411 on Twitter, at Nightrid, at Hogman21, Facebook Stogie411, and you'll know when our next shows are coming up.
And now our next show is actually going to be, what is it, April 11th?
Yeah, I think it's 11th.
I think it's the 11th. I'm looking it up. Yep, April 11th. And we are going to have Mr. David Jones on from the
Monkees?
Yes.
Wow, I thought he was dead.
We resurrected him. See, we're doing the reverse question, from our show.
Nice.
We brought him back to life to see what cigar he would smoke.
Yes.
So, but no, and we're going to talk about the everything. I mean, Tiki Bar now, right? Yeah, I hope I have the name correct.
Yeah, no, it's not Tiki Bar.
No, it's oh my God, I always screw that up. I'm always used to it being Tiki Bar, David.
They just changed it.
It's been a while.
Him and Keith. Shit,
I can't remember.
Anyways, you know who he is on
and
Twitter.
we're going to be talking about the Chattanooga Tweet Up. It's going to be happening this year. We tried to get him on the past year or two, and we've always had booked up. So we booked him early this year. That way we could have him on. So hopefully he'll have all the details and all the fun stuff and get all the answers for you.
So join us or else. All right. Let's end this goddamn forsaken show.
All right.
All right, guys. See you later.
And thanks to Tobacco Company again for letting me hear and do this.
Yes.